1.4 million years ago, survival was not a choice. It was the only law. Before fire, before tools, before civilization, there was Karen, standing between life and extinction. What he faced that morning would decide not just his fate, but the future of humanity itself. The sun had not yet risen above the wide grasslands. Mist drifted low over the valley, wrapping the world in silence. Only the faint crack of cooling stone and the distant cry of unseen beasts broke the still air. In the half-light, a figure moved among the tall reeds. His skin was darkened by years of wind and dust. His hands were scarred, thick with callus and dirt. He carried no weapon, only a stone flake tied to a stick, crude but sharp enough to cut meat from bone. His name was Karen, one of the early kind. He belonged to no tribe. Only his small family, 3 adults, 2 children, wandered with him across the dry plains. They had followed the river for days, chasing the last pools of water that had not yet vanished under the growing heat. The season was changing. The animals were moving away. And hunger was beginning to whisper louder than fear. Karen stopped at the edge of the reeds. He crouched low, his nostrils wide, tasting the air, the smell of damp earth, the faint rot of something dead, and another scent, musk, warm and heavy. He froze, every sense sharp. His eyes darted across the rippling grass. There, movement. A shadow slipped between the rocks near the water's edge. It was not one of his kind. The shape was too large, the shoulders too wide. The sound, low, rumbling, not human. Karen's heart thudded against his ribs. He could not see it clearly, but instinct spoke louder than thought. He knew the shape of danger. Slowly, he stepped back, pressing his bare feet into the mud to hide his tracks. The morning air cooled his skin. He could hear his own breath. The reeds rustled again, then silence. A ripple of fear passed through his body. He wanted to run, but running could call attention. He lowered himself further, the reeds brushing against his shoulders. A shape rose from the mist. 2 yellow eyes glowed above the water, the saber-toothed cat. Ah! Its fur was mottled, its muscles shifting like coiled ropes under the skin. Karen's throat tightened. The predator stood still, watching. Time slowed. The world narrowed to those eyes, that breath, that distance of 20 paces. Karen knew what it meant. The beast was not hungry, not yet. So, it was curious. It had seen his movement, the twitch of a limb, the scent of a warm body, and now it decided whether to hunt. Karen's mind raced. He looked around. No tree, no stone wall, no fire, only open water and grass. He could fight, but his tool would break against the creature's skull. He could flee, but it would chase him before the first cry left his throat. His only chance was silence, stillness. He became stone. The cat took 1 step forward. The water rippled. Its paws sank with no sound. Another step. Karen's eyes burned from not blinking. His breath trembled in his chest. He thought of his mate hidden somewhere upriver with the children. He thought of their last meal, a bird's egg shared among 5. He thought of the smell of roasted roots. He wanted to live. The cat lowered its head, nostrils flaring. Its teeth glinted pale in the mist. Then a cry echoed from far away, a child's voice, high sharp, cutting through the stillness. Karen's heart turned to ice. The beast lifted its head. It had heard. Its ears twitched. Its gaze shifted upriver. Karen knew what would come next. The cat moved with sudden grace, silent as a shadow. It turned and began to stalk toward the sound. Karen's body broke from its frozen cage. He ran. The reeds whipped his legs. Mud splashed underfoot. The air tore in his lungs. He sprinted along the riverbank, chasing the beast that was already faster than him. Each stride sank into the soft earth. His arms pumped. His heartbeat thundered in his skull. He could not see the cat now, but he felt it, the tremor of motion ahead, the faint echo of disturbed birds. He burst through the reeds, into the clearing. There his mate Nara, clutching the youngest child against her chest. The older one stood frozen, eyes wide. Karen shouted, a deep, raw sound that shook his throat. Nara turned. Her eyes met his, and behind her, movement. The grass rippled. The beast erupted into the open. Its body was all muscle and power. Its jaws opened, a flash of bone-white fangs. Nara screamed. Karen charged. He did not think. He only moved. His hands gripped the crude spear. He threw his weight forward. The world blurred. Grass, sunlight, fur, teeth. Impact, a sound like stone cracking. Then darkness. A ringing filled Karen's ears. The world spun around him. The air tasted of dust and blood. He blinked hard, trying to clear his sight. Shapes swam before him. Grass, sky, shadow. Pain crawled through his arm like fire. He looked down. The spear was gone. The spear was gone. Only a splintered shaft remained, slick with blood that was not his. He pushed himself up, groaning. The world steadied, and then he saw it. The beast lay a few paces away, its flank heaving. The spearhead had struck deep between its ribs, but the cat still lived. The cat still lived. Its golden eyes locked on him, burning, hateful, alive. A snarl tore through the air. Karen stumbled backward, clutching his arm. His heart hammered like a drum. He could smell the iron tang of the animal's breath. Nara stood frozen behind him, clutching the children close. Her face was streaked with mud and terror. Karen raised his broken weapon, though it was little more than a stick now. The beast tried to rise. Its claws dug furrows in the earth. The spear lodged in its chest shifted, sending fresh blood spilling down its fur. Karen saw the moment it realized. It would die soon, and before it did, it wanted to kill. It lunged. Karen threw himself sideways. The cat crashed into the ground where he had stood. Its paw caught his leg, a flash of pain sharp and deep. He hit the ground, rolling, tasting dirt and blood. The beast thrashed, snarling, choking on its own breath. Its massive body convulsed. The spearhead had cut through the lung. Karen watched, gasping, as life drained from the creature's eyes. The roars turned to gurgles. The movement slowed, then silence. Then silence. Only the whisper of wind through the grass remained. Karen lay still for a long time. His chest rose and fell with heavy, uneven breaths. Nara did not move until the sound of death was complete. Then she came forward, her hands trembling. She knelt beside him, touching his face, whispering something low, words too old for meaning, too soft for the air. He looked at her. Her eyes were wet but fierce. She was alive. The children clung to her legs, silent and wide-eyed. Karen turned his gaze back to the cat. It lay twisted on its side, ribs rising like hills under the fur. The wound still steamed in the cool air. A strange calm filled him. This creature had hunted their kind for generations. Now, its body was theirs. Food, clothing, tools, life. He crawled forward and touched the beast's neck. It was still warm. The pulse had gone. He pressed his hand flat against its fur, feeling the weight of it, the power that had ended, the power that had almost taken his own. Then he looked to the sky. The sun was rising. Light spilled across the valley, painting the river gold. The mist burned away. For a brief moment, the world seemed to breathe again. But Karen knew it was not peace. It was only the pause between hungers. They had killed one danger, but others would come. The smell of blood would call them. He rose, limping, his leg throbbing where the claws had torn it open, and he had torn. So he turned to Nara. The night gathered around them, quiet, vast, eternal. Somewhere far beyond the hills, other fires burned, other lives endured. The world turned, ancient and indifferent. But in this small circle of light, something continued. A pulse, a will, the code of all life, to live, to adapt, to begin again. Karen closed his eyes. The wind brushed his face like breath. He listened to the sound of the spring, the rhythm of his heart, the whisper of leaves. And as the first light of dawn touched the edge of the world, he knew, for now, they had survived. They had survived.